Michael Moore was 100% correct in 2016. Oh, hold on. It's been a long time since I've seen the news, so I'm pretty sure he was right. He said Trump was going to win, and he warned people. And he's been warning them ever since because you can see the lines being drawn. You can see Trump's base is still here. You can see that people are showing up. He's raising, what did he raise, like $24 million in a day? And now Michael Moore said, Michael Moore warns Democrats, Trump hasn't lost 1 inch of his fired up, insane base. Well, you don't have to like Michael Moore. I think he's in a particularly weird situation where he used to be a voice for the white working class. He did those documentaries about unions, and he's from Michigan. And a lot of the people that vote for Donald Trump, and even voted for Obama in the past, he spoke to them. Their jobs were lost. Manufacturing was lost. And now he's just decided for tribal reasons to stay on the left. I think none of that matters. Principle matters. But I'll say this. There was you may remember this. There was a conversation. It was some part of a play or something, or some kind of, stage presentation that Michael Moore did, where he said Donald Trump was going to win, and it would be the biggest FU to the establishment. And it was this really, really great speech, talking about manufacturing jobs, etc. I'm pretty sure it's been a while since I watched it. And everyone actually cheered it on, saying it wasn't even necessarily that he was supporting Trump. He was saying, this is what's going to happen. People are going to vote for him as an FU, and they're going to do it again. It's really interesting that we're seeing the same thing start to play out. I really do believe Trump will win, not just because of my opinion, because of, economic forecast models, historical trends. Trump's the incumbent. Trump, the economy is doing really, really well, so people think he's going to win. But we're seeing these polls pop up where they're like, Biden is beating Trump, et cetera, and it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. We saw the same nonsense with Hillary Clinton. Why should I believe you this time? Well, guess what? Michael Moore is saying it once again. And you know what? I'm going to take his word for it. You know why? Because as I mentioned, Michael Moore knows the white working class. He does. Whether or not he's going to speak up in their defense today, I don't think so. But I think he really does understand them. I think he does. So, Daily Wire writes, leftist propagandist Michael Moore has returned to warn Democrats about the loyalty of President Trump's insane base. In response to the president's rousing campaign announcement on Tuesday night, Michael Moore warned the 2020 hopefuls that Trump's influence has not diminished among his base of supporters. If anything, it's gone up. We'll talk about it in a second. Advising that whoever takes up the sword to slay the orange dragon better be ready to face his hungry hordes of les deplorables. That's a good one, actually. I watched the whole thing last night, the filmmaker tweeted on Wednesday. I know no one wants to waste that kind of time even looking at him, but not wanting to see the enormity of the fight ahead doesn't make it go away. He hasn't lost 1 inch of his fired-up, insane base. Are you ready? If Michael Moore genuinely thinks that Democrats' only path to victory in 2020 is to directly challenge his base with more defamatory rhetoric about their sanity, then he surely has learned nothing since Hillary Clinton lost 4 years ago, which he actually predicted would happen. Okay, so I was right. At the time, due to this, Rust Belt populist bona fides. So, let's read this. Actually, I want to make we'll just read the statement. He said, I am sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I gave it to you straight last summer when I told you that Donald Trump would be the Republican nominee for president. And now I have even more awful, depressing news for you. Donald J. Trump is going to win in November. This wretched, ignorant, dangerous, part-time clown and full-time sociopath is going to be our next president. President Trump. Go ahead and say those words because you'll be saying them for the next 4 years, President Trump. Michael Moore knows what he's talking about. He really does. He might not be happy about it, but he understands this. And the point I made earlier, it's because I think he gets Michigan. Michigan went Trump. They shouldn't have. He knew it. He told them. They didn't listen. Hillary Clinton didn't campaign in these states because she thought she had the blue wall, these states that would always go blue. She was wrong. So what are we seeing now? Michael Moore is playing into the same follies, the same mistakes of 2016. The same people who voted for Trump, not all of them, but also voted for Barack Obama. Think about that. There are people who voted for Barack Obama twice, who then voted for Donald Trump. Why did that happen? I don't know. But if you then look those people in the face and call them insane, insult them, do you think they'll now come back and vote for your people? I don't believe the answer is yes. I don't know. It could be a maybe. It's not yes. I don't think so. You've got people who are not racists. You've got people who just want a good economy. You've got people who believed in hope and change for 8 years. And they chose Trump. And what's being offered today? moral grandstanding. Beto O'Rourke. But Beto O'Rourke has no policies. You've got Joe Biden. What's Joe Biden's policies? I don't even know what he's doing. Bernie Sanders, I believe, has some principle, but he's kind of bent the knee to the social justice mobs. You've got Tulsi and Yang, who I really do like, and I do hope for. I'm not trying to be a dick, because I know a lot of people, you might like Tulsi and Yang. I don't think they're going to win, but I think their ideas need to be up on that stage, and that's what I'm hoping for. I think Trump will win, but my personal weight is probably going to go behind Yang. I don't think UBI is perfect. I think the way he's talking about it, it's interesting, but I really do believe that Trump and Yang both see the same problem, and they're approaching it in different ways. So manufacturing, collapse, automation. Trump saw this. He said, we got to bring jobs back to this country. So he and Bernie went a similar route. Get rid of the free trade agreements. Makes sense. Trump renegotiates NAFTA, USMCA. It worked. I mean, I don't know what or why. All I know is the economy is doing well. People are working again. This is good news for people. So they looked at Trump and say it's working. That's why Trump will win. And I got to admit, I lean towards Andrew Yang because of his technological expertise. And because he's really a domestic policy, juggernaut. All of these things he's fleshed out, he's talked about, he has good ideas. I really appreciate how he went on with Ben Shapiro, and I've talked about this before, had his ideas challenged. But Yang is looking at the same problem. I think if you're being honest, you're looking at the problem of middle America and jobs, and Yang is as well. That's why I like Yang. He's also pro-nuclear, and there's a lot of things that, that I appreciate about him. But I think Trump is definitely going to win. Michael Moore is right. But Yang is approaching the manufacturing stuff from the point of automation, right? We can't stop automation. You can't just regulate your way out of technology. So something has to be done, and he approaches it from the value-added tax dividend policy. Like, these big tech companies are making a ridiculous amount of money, therefore charge them a tax on the products they sell. They can't escape the VAT. And Ben Shapiro actually agreed that a VAT would make sense, though they disagreed on further implementation. Like, Ben Shapiro wanted completely, I think Ben Shapiro said this, no income tax, just go straight VAT. What Andrew Yang actually said is, he said a minimum wage makes no sense, right? He's not for it. I'm sorry, he said the $15 minimum wage makes no sense. I want to be specific. He said it doesn't solve the problems. And I was like, boom, here's a guy who's actually talking some sense. So anyway, I digress. Trump is going to win. People make really, really good points. People in the know. Don't bet on the polls. Bet on Vegas. I'll tell you what. The polls are meant to swing your opinion. Someone will ask a loaded question. They'll say something like, Ocasio-Cortez recently destroyed 25,000 jobs in New York. Do you support her? And then people are going to be like, whoa, wait, what? No, I don't support that. So they can ask loaded questions to get an answer, because the polls will trick people into thinking they're on the side of the winner. People will vote for the winner. Look at Vegas, though. Trump's odds of winning, even. Everybody else, like, Trump is the favorite. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Hillary Clinton was a favorite before. I think he's going to win. But let's see what Michael Moore said in the past, because he was right. He said, "Never in my life have I wanted to be proven wrong more than I do right now. This isn't an accident. It is happening. And if you believe Hillary Clinton is going to beat Trump with facts and smarts and logic, then you obviously missed the past year of 56 primaries and caucuses where 16 Republican candidates tried that and every kitchen sink they could throw at Trump, and nothing could stop his juggernaut." As of today, as things stand now, I believe this is going to happen. And in order to deal with it, I need you to first acknowledge it, and then maybe, just maybe, we can find a way out of the mess we're in. Did we? I'm sorry, did they? No, they didn't. They double down. Every step of the way, the rhetoric has gotten more insane. 2 years later, Congress sweep there's a big push in Congress to the far left. None of this is what Americans are going to vote for. You thought it was bad when people were ragging on Trump and the media was lying and pushing this nonsense. In the past few years, it's only been worse. Now that everyone's seen Russiagate for what it is, what do you think they're going to say now? They're going to say the media really is lying. And they do. The trust in the press is down, down, down. All of this not only predicted Trump, but they've doubled down every step of the way, with even Michael Moore, who gets it, still resorting to insulting Trump's base as insane. No. I'll tell you the effective way to politic. It's to respect the opinions. It's to listen to the people, to try and understand the problems they're going through, and be respectful of those problems. We all have struggles in life, and everyone prioritizes the issue they think affects them the most. We can't ask any more of them. I have problems. Well, it's the problems I see that affect me on the day-to-day. I'm concerned about the rise of the regressive left in the mainstream and the oppressive tactics they use. Not everyone agrees. That's okay. Just because I'm focused on this and I think it's a bigger deal doesn't mean you're wrong. So the way we approach that problem is by sitting down and you telling me. Before I started tracking what was going on with the Trump campaign, I didn't actually know a whole lot about the loss of these jobs in Middle America. But I listened to people and I respected them and said, I hear you, I do. I want to make your life better too. I want life to be better for everybody. The Democrats don't do that, right? At least right now, a lot of them aren't. Michael Moore comes out and says, we got to beat Trump. His fans are insane. Great. What that says is that Michael Moore doesn't see a Trump supporter as someone who could be his friend, someone who could support him. Because the real response is, how do I convince Trump supporters there's another way to solve these problems? I think Andrew Yang is spot on. Admittedly, I'm a rational person. If what Trump is doing is working, I don't see a reason to, don't fix if it isn't broken, right? But I still like Yang for a lot of reasons, and I think it extends outside of the economy and even his UBI plan with the VAT tax. It's just one thing, right? He's got a bunch of different things he's talked about, particularly nuclear energy, and I really like, the reason I decided to support him is I looked at his website and I saw all of these things he's gone through, and it felt like he was doing a really, really good job, and he's a new type of person. He's very much like Trump in terms of they're able to see the big problem, which is jobs, manufacturing, economy. The difference, though, is that Yang is not a negative individual, right? A lot of people like Trump because he's like tough and he pushes back on people. Yang isn't like that. Yang fits, I see more of myself in him, a calm, rational guy who's willing to reach out and talk to anybody. So I think all of you guys who watch me, the many of you who are Trump supporters probably get it. It's the easiest way to explain why I like Yang. You see how I approach talking to liberals and conservatives? Yang is very much in a similar boat. It's about, sitting down and respecting the other and trying to solve that problem. Not perfect. Neither is Trump. The reason I don't like Trump, for the most part, is, for one, foreign policy, of course, but that's a presidential trap. But it's also that he's a negative guy, right? He's positive in some ways, but he's negative in a lot of other ways. He's mocked body-slamming reporters. He's mocked people. He makes fun of them. He insults them. I'm not a fan of that. And you can see that in my content. I try not to do that. So there's more to being the president than just, enacting policy and running the military, the armed forces. There's also charisma and inspiring hope, inspiring change in people. Sometimes you need a Trump. You do. Sometimes you need someone to stand up and say, we're on the wrong course. You've pandered enough and things need to change. So I absolutely can respect the things he's done that have worked. I'm not a crazy person, right? I can absolutely respect that he was right on the border. And the Democrats have finally turned around. And that says to me, I wasn't wrong to say, okay, Trump's got a point here. I wasn't wrong. They want to say I'm a conservative for saying that? I'm sorry. The Democrats have just figured it out. They resisted, but no. I was right the whole time, and I was late to the party too. So we'll leave it there. I don't want to ramble on this video. I just want to say one thing. It's 2016 all over again, and then some. Michael Moore predicted it. He's predicting it again. If they think they're going to walk through this one and win, they got another thing coming. It's going to be 4 more years of Trump. I recognize the possibility I could be wrong. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I really do think Michael Moore gets that base. He understands those people in Middle America. And whatever it is he's doing, he's not speaking to them anymore. But he still understands them. And it's going to be Trump 2020. I got one more video coming up in a few minutes. Stick around. I will see you shortly.